All right, in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about stage display. So you remember we talked about outputs and looks, and we have the different screens. Well, what about stage display? There's a separate way, so there's a TV on the balcony that the people on the platform can see. What we're able to do is actually display different information. Now, for our purposes, we don't really use this all that much, but if we needed it, it's here. So there is one particular way it shows up. So let's clear out this. So when we go to the pre-service, we select this pre-service look, you'll see that a system clock actually pops up here with the seconds, okay? So then I can hit the slides like it would normally, and it'll normally play through the slides here. But you'll see this system clock is running. The reason we do that is the person playing the prelude can actually see how much time they have left in that minute right up until it's time to start the service. So that's a helpful way to do that. But once we actually start the service and we select this slide here and hit Start Service, you'll see that goes away. Now the stage screen is set to just mirror what's on the output, but it doesn't have to be that way. So let me show you a couple different options. You can go up here to screens just like we did before and configure the audience screens, but if you look at stage screens, you'll see stage screen 1 projector preview. This is the current selected template. So we could pick a different one. So let's try presentation here, and you'll see it says current slide and next slide. So when I click on this, you'll see it displays the current slide and then the next slide. And those are just slide previews. It's just showing a picture of what that slide would look like. So if someone was working through a presentation or something like a PowerPoint like that, you could have current slide and next slide. But you can do a lot more too. So if you go to edit layouts up here, you can add, we could add a layout. So let's do that. Let's add one, and let's just start from a blank. So we'll do a blank layout, and we'll rename this test layout for video. All right, and we'll just show you what this is capable of. So here's our slide. You can do a slide background, or you could just leave it blank like that. You can pick your resolution. For us, it needs to be 1920 by 1080, and then you'll see right there is the name for the video, or the name for the slide. Okay, over here is where you can begin to add elements in. So you could add a static text box. You know, that's how you might add something like current slide. You know, if we wanted to add a label for something. So let's drop that down and move that out of the way here. You could add text, you could add shapes, you can draw things on here, but you can also add in text for the current slide. So this is text, current slide text. And what that'll do is, so let's put that here, and we'll put it on this side here. Let's delete that static text there. When I select this, I can make changes. So let's say we'll stick with Helvetica, and let's give it a 150 point font. But what we're going to do is they allow you to do a scaling option, and you can say text down. So what that means is the text will scale down so that all the text fits in. Then let's add in, you can do next slide, and you could do a preview image of it. You could do the notes. You could do chords if you have the multi-track, but let's say text for that as well. Okay, and let's do something like this, and we'll add it there. Okay, and then this is the text for the next slide. Let's change its color so that we know that is coming up. We'll change that to be a different color. And we'll do the same thing here. We won't make it as big, so that way it doesn't stand out as much. And then we'll select that same text down feature. So now, when I select this slide, so let's go back here, okay? So we're here, and we have this previous stage screen option selected, but what we can do is we can change it to test layout. Now you'll see it just shows the text in the template we selected. All right, so if I go here, you know, he has conquered sin and death, you know, and it's basically scaling it so that all the text fits in, and then you can see the next slide as well. So on the projector screen, you only see what the output's supposed to look like. But then if I switch over to the stage screen, you see that. Another place this can show up is if you're using timers. So let's go back to edit layouts. Let's edit that exact one we were doing. And let's add in a timer. This is a timer for an upcoming event we have that I was messing with. So you could add it down here. do something like that. You can pick, let's pick a different font. Let's pick our normal, you know, just something funny just to see it, see what it looks like. We'll go 95, make it nice and big, and let's change the color to orange, something like that. Okay, and then if I go back to show, click here, you'll see I've still got this output selected. Then if I start the timer, now it's counting down over here, but on the projectors, we just see how the slide is formatted. But on the stage screen, we see the new format that it's working with, okay? So that's an easy way to do that. Another way to do, another thing that can be used is you can do stage messages. So let's go back to that, edit layout, go back here, and let's do this. Let's take our timer now, and let's move it over. And let's add in, they have a stage message feature. Here it is, stage message. Take my stage message, put it here. Well, let's tuck it in this corner over here. Now if I go back to show, you'll see that timer moved over, and I can write a message here under stage. This is stage screen options here, stage message, and hit show. So now that message shows up. You know, it could say something like, you know, turn your mic on or whatever. And that message can pop up there, and you can also change the layout, right? So I can go back to how we normally have it, which is just projector preview, or I could switch back to that test layout slide there, and you can see, there it is, there's my timer, it can start running, and there's lots of options. So stage screen is a really powerful feature. Admittedly, we don't use it as much as it could be used, but this should help you see some of the options that are available. You know, if we're ever doing big events or things like that, these things can be helpful for them. Okay, thanks.